Hello everyone, this is Dartt, and PTR build 23178 for patch 7.1.5 has quite a few changes for hunters, mostly survival. So let's take a look at what's in store. For general spell changes, Butchery is being buffed from 518% of weapon damage to 620%. This is very nice considering that survival is currently pretty weak in multi-target situations. Caltrops. Enemies who step on them will now take 50% of attack power as bleed damage, up from 25%. Any damage increase is nice, don't get me wrong, but let's be honest, even at 50% of attack power, that's not going to scratch an elite NPC's health pool, let alone a raid boss's by so much as a pixel. But it would be noticeable to another player. My thought is that this change is one of a series aimed at making survival more viable in a competitive PvP format. Disengage. Survival hunters will now be getting Disengage as a level 45 talent choice. This is interesting to me. Survival already has Harpoon, which allows the hunter to close on a target instantly. Now they're gaining Disengage. I would have to say that the intention here is to give Survival an additional degree of mobility to make full use of traps and waylay effects during a fight. I don't think this is intended to be used as a defensive cooldown, but I could very well be wrong. Expert Trapper. Enemies moving through tar traps now have a chance to be rooted in place for 4 seconds. This is a very nice bonus, not only for PvP, but also for added utility in PvE content. Guerrilla Tactics. For all specs, Explosive Trap will deal 50% more damage. For survival, Explosive Trap will no longer deal the 200% increased damage, but will cause the target to miss their next 2 melee attacks. This could be very useful if you find yourself in a straight DPS race in PvP against another melee. It may not sound like much, but being able to block 2 instant attacks can be life or death. Snake Hunter will now have a 2-minute cooldown, up from 1.5 minutes. Okay, really this doesn't surprise me much at all. Up until just recently, Snake Hunter was the obvious choice for the 30th level tier, and the devs have stated over and over that they hate obvious choices. Right now, I believe the recommended talent choice is Murder of Crows, so this is absolutely a non-issue. Spitting Cobra. The Cobra, instead of doing 1 plus 20% of attack power as nature damage every 2 seconds, will now deal 1 damage every 2 seconds. Either the devs are intending to see how well this ability will work purely as a focus generator, or they have more in mind for this ability. I can't really see this being viable in this form. As a level 100 talent with a 60-second cooldown, it just doesn't work. Steady Focus. You will now only need to use multi-shot 2 times in a row to increase focus regeneration by 25% for 12 seconds. A little love for lower-level Marksman hunters, particularly those with access to the 15th level tier of abilities. Also, I'm wondering if down the road this could serve as a viable replacement for Sidewinders in the max level rotation. I'd say this change definitely deserves to be watched very carefully. Sticky Bomb will now explode after 2 seconds, down from 3 seconds. Also, the cooldown will be reduced to 25 seconds from 30. This ability to me just screams PvP. I just get this mental image of using this to knock a member of a rival arena team out of line of sight of their healer at a critical moment, or to help save your flag carrier in Warsong Gulch. Things like that. This could be a huge pain in the ass. I love it. Okay, for Marksman, Bursting Shot will now do 60% of weapon damage, up from 40%. This is kind of... I don't care if Bursting Shot was doing 100% of weapon damage, it still hits like a wet noodle, even in PvP. I would have to say, this would be good if you find yourself in a situation where you need to just get a split-second misdirection multi-target cleave macro in a PvE setting off. Otherwise, in my mind, it's another remove player from healer line of sight tool for PvP. For survival, Explosive Trap. The cooldown is being reverted to 30 seconds from 40 in the previous build. Flanking Strike. This is mentioned as being changed, but I've looked and looked, and I don't see anything new going on here. If you happen to know, please let me know in the comments. Harpoon. The cooldowns of Harpoon and Disengage are reduced by 10 seconds. Again, this definitely helps out with mobility. This cuts the cooldown by 1/3. Lacerate will be losing its 10-second cooldown. In my mind, this is nothing but good. My problem with Survival was how overly complicated and clunky its rotation is or was. Anything that allows more flexibility, to me, is a good thing. Waylay. Explosive Trap will lose its 50% increased damage, because it's being moved to guerrilla tactics, and instead causes the target to miss its next attack. Survival, Beast Mastery, and Marksman. Both Freezing Trap and Tar Traps are having their cooldowns reverted from 40 seconds to 30 seconds. Both of these give hunters their crowd control utility back. That by itself is absolutely huge. Having a 10-second greater window to refresh traps, that's even better. It gives you that much more freedom of action either before a fight or in the middle of it. That's all for this video. Let me know what you think. Once again, this is Dartt. Like, comment, subscribe. Good luck. Have fun.